It's your boy Tony G and Big Lou, the sports book, every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock on KM Radio. All right, guys, it's been a heck of a weekend with the AFC NFC championship games.
Mm,
A
mm.
lot to break down. Hey, I called it wrong. I mean, I took some prop bets. It didn't work out for me. I mean, I always like to
No,
tell people, yeah, you just gotta tell them, hey, man, some weekends we get it and some weekends we don't. And
yeah,
I did, yeah, I really
yeah,
thought Lamar could score two touchdowns. Um,
yeah. I thought he was going
I
to run for more yards than he ran. I picked that. That didn't help him.
He actually threw for more yards than Mahomes. He actually
Yeah,
threw for 30 more yards. And they got away from the Baltimore that we know. You know what I mean? I
right.
mean,
They got away
instead
from
of
what they got. They got away from what got them there.
yeah,
You never play. You play up to your opponent. Don't play like your opponent. Play up
right,
to. Use what you've been doing, but play at the level of your opponent. Don't play like your opponent. You know, you're never going to beat Kansas City in a shootout. It's not going to happen, you know. But what you can do is run the ball down their throat, control the clock. Your defense was playing lights out, keeping them off the field, but when they have to go right back, they don't get the rest or to get to build their drilling back up. They got to get right back out on the field. He's going to eat you up.
and
It's
you know
point
what's
blank
so
period.
crazy is it was 7-7 going into the second
Yeah.
quarter, and then going into the half, it was 17-10. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh, it's going to be. And then the only points that were scored in the whole second half was a field goal by the
Right.
Ravens. Um, but you talked about something that we're going to talk about that about inexperience,
Mm-hmm.
and it definitely showed some on their behalf. I thought Lamar had a great year. I thought
Yeah.
he got the money he was doing. They were playing, and he still had a great year. I just feel like Kansas City's they've been in that situation so many times.
Mm-hmm.
It's second nature, and it's
Yeah.
not second nature to other teams. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, and until the clock is off, he still has a chance.
Right. Right.
And I think we saw that. What were your thoughts on when you saw them not playing the game that they had? I mean, we know the game of football that we know they play, and then
Right.
he Lamar threw for 190 yards last week. That's usually where he's at. He threw for
Yeah.
272, and I was just like, okay, what are we doing? Why are we? I
Right.
mean,
They
what were your thoughts? Yeah,
Yeah, my thoughts is they tried to once they saw that it was going to be difficult to stop the offense, then they tried to say, okay, well, since we can't stop them, we're going to match them. And that's where they went wrong. They should have stuck to what they were doing. Now there was some key drops by Flowers in the fumble before he got into the end zone, that
that's
that
true.
hurt him a lot.
It
But
did hurt him.
right, but at the same time, they should have stuck with their guns, ran the ball. You're at home, so that's more. That's more of an indication that you should stick to what you do because what you did got you home field advantage. Now, why would
Yes,
you wait until the championship game to get away from that? Because the bully ball didn't work this time.
right.
So when a bully can't bully a person, they panic and try anything, or they try to do what the person they're trying to bully do, and it doesn't work.
I just think they
And
didn't stick with the game plan as long as I mean they just said, okay, we're not going to do. It's like they did, and it was pretty tight. I mean, the game going
yeah,
into the half was 17-10, and both defenses were playing lights out, obviously.
mm-hmm,
Um, and like I said, I mean, my hat's off to um, Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. They showed why they're, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like
They
they
so
just
are
barely,
there. Yeah.
yeah, they barely beat the Bills. Came back, beat the Bills on their home turf. Went
Mm-hmm.
to the Ravens and beat them, the number one seed in the NFL. Beat them, and now I'm looking at it like, I mean, because this was supposed to be an off year. They won the Super Bowl
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Um,
This is supposed to be their down year. And then they come
supposed to
back the
be
next year, retooled, refocused, you know, just like a quarter player, but apparently not. And on top of that, Tony, they don't even have the weapons that they had last year. And they
no
won on the road. That's what makes it more impressive to me, is that they didn't have the Tyreek Hill or, that number one go-to receiver that can make some things happen when Patrick get in trouble.
right.
These receivers had to develop over the season, during the course of the season. And to see them play at the level that they played at, when they haven't been there, they've been there, but not in a starring role.
Right,
And to
right.
see those guys, MDS and Sidney Rice, to see them guys step up, and Pacheco was just a beast. So
He is.
and to do it on the road, and to get to the Super Bowl on the road with a team that was lesser than the ones you had last year, it's going to be hard to see, it's going to be hard to see who can dethrone them. Now, maybe a retooled Cincinnati with a healthy Joe Burrow, or maybe, if there's some coaching changes and, with Buffalo, maybe, you know, uh, Miami's not there yet. So I'm struggling to see uh, who's going to be the ones that can, at least give them, you know, issue or get them something
Well,
to worry about.
the other thing is they have, and this is another thing that New England did. They have this persona that you have to keep up with them. Like this wasn't a wide open Chiefs team. I mean, it wasn't 40, but the persona is you got to keep it rolling. And I think the
Right.
Ravens kind of got caught up in that. And
Yes, they did.
th-
Absolutely.
this is a 27-point score. I would have never thought that. I mean, because that was the under. I would have took the over every day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought, I was saying about the over. I did take it, but I picked some other props. Was I thought, like, that Kansas City was going to have some issues against the Ravens defense.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I didn't give Kansas City's defense enough props to go,
I know
hey,
I
they're
did.
gonna, yeah, yeah. I mean that we're gonna shut Lamar down from doing. Now he passed the ball. He had a good day
Yeah.
passing, but they stopped his as a weapon, um,
Mm-hmm.
and they just weren't playing that same style of ball. And Kansas
Right.
City just and the pressure may have got to them. You know what I'm saying? It may have. I mean,
It did.
because I don't know because I can't remember, but Lamar Jackson's record isn't very good in the playoffs. He's
No.
kind of like Dak. It doesn't have a great winning percentage in the playoffs.
Regular
I want to
season
say,
wonder, but
yeah,
falls short in
two
the
and
playoffs.
six, yeah, something like I cannot remember. 2 and 6, whatever it was. It wasn't impressive. But my hats off to him. He did win the MVP, right?
Yes, he is the most
Yeah,
valuable player,
yeah,
deserving as
okay,
well. It's just
yeah.
that they it's just they got a way for what they know to try to compete, with a team that's been there, multiple times, and and you don't have the person there to do that. You work with your strengths and what you have. You don't try to fight the same fight that your opponent is, and it's not working. So what happens after that? Once you try to play your bully ball because you're at home, if Tony, it felt like Kansas City showed up to a AFC championship game and Baltimore showed up to another regular season game.
Right.
It just didn't feel like y'all were championship ready because you reverted to what your opponent was doing, and that didn't work. So now your discipline's not there. Everybody unravels. You headbutt guys. You get penalties. You gave them 30
Yeah,
yards on
yeah,
penalty. You know, because when the bullying is not working, then comes the panic. Just like there was a great analogy that was made today on sports when they said it was like when Tyson fought Holyfield and he saw that the punches wasn't working, so he bites his ear. Panic.
right.
And I thought that was an excellent way of explaining it.
But my thing is they were in the game. I
Yes,
mean, I mean, they weren't like they weren't in the game, but I think when they couldn't move the ball going into when they couldn't score, I think that's when they started. They scored 3 points in the. They scored 10 points for the game, 3 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, they got. I mean, they were shut down in the second. They were shut down in the third, and then they scored a field goal in the fourth. And I think that had a factor. I think that definitely had a factor on the game. And and like I said, it would keep if Mahomes wins another Super Bowl, if they do, and it's very possible. I mean, you
yes, it
realize
is.
they'll have 3 out of 5. I mean, holy cow!
That's dynasty talk. That's dynasty talk.
Yeah.
3 out of 5. Four
I
out of the
mean,
6 times you've been here since you started. You've been to the big dance 4 out of 6 times.
see that positive mental that they have because they
Mhm.
have one. You know what I mean? I mean, he's not going to be. That's what's so great. That's what Kansas City is becoming, coming just like New England. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Just when New England came back from a 28-3 deficit. You listen to some of the guys around that team, and the mindset was calm down. Let's go do
Mhm.
what we need to do. It wasn't a panic. It was let's all right. We've made some mistakes. Let's calm down. Let's just
Mhm.
do what we need to do. And they started
Right.
doing what they needed to do, and
Right.
that's the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are. I mean, a lot of people. I don't like them. I don't want to see Taylor Swift. I am very burned out with Taylor Swift. I am burnt out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right.
It's
Yeah.
it's it's just taken away from the game.
Yeah. But
I mean,
we
it's
will all eyes on football. Even the Swifties.
oh yeah,
We got
yeah,
Swifties eyes on football. We got ratings galore. Ratings mean
yeah. And
money.
he's bringing his booth up there.
A
I mean, it's
whole
got
nother dynamic to the game of football.
yeah, because he's bringing a lot of popular people. All the cool kids are in there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
All the cool kids are in there. Um, so that being said, I mean, uh, yeah. So it's going to be a big thing. Well, like I said, hats off to the Chiefs that got me on the
Yeah.
under. Like I said, I didn't see that coming. And Patrick Mahomes just doing what Patrick Mahomes does. Now Lamar did have an interception. They had some they had some stuff. He threw it right there down in the end zone. And,
Yeah.
and like you said, I really think that the pressure, maybe the pressure, it did get to them. But like I said, hats off. The Ravens had a
Yeah.
great
Hats off to the
season.
Ravens. Yeah. And one more
And
thing to close it out, Tony.
yeah,
To close it out now. This is when uh I thought the Ravens was gonna win when Lamar threw the ball and they tipped it in the air and he caught it and got the first
yes,
down. I said,
yes,
okay, magic moment. That's
right,
when I thought I was like, okay, when stuff like that happens, it's magic. This their magic moment. I thought
yes,
this is their moment. And if they had just stuck with what they knew, I believe they probably would have taken this game because
I,
you have, that 1 ounce of luck. That's what changes the tide. They got
Right.
that with that tip and him catching it and getting the first down. That was their magic moment. If they had stuck to their guns, they probably would have took the game, but they didn't. They went to doing things the way that their opposers did, and they lost the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it was a great season, great season. But at the end of the day, we wanted a better show, especially on your home field, on your home turf.
Absolutely. But like I said, congratulations. Can't say now this next game, Detroit and 49ers. This is another going back to what you said. Big
Mm-hmm.
stage. I mean, San Francisco, when I'm telling you, I mean, they won the game, but man, they came back from behind. The
Mm-hmm.
pass that hit the guy in the face mask, and he caught it. It just, but that's why they're in this position now. For
Mm-hmm.
the Lions, they got a very young team. Now Jared Goff
Yeah.
isn't young, but they got a young, and I mean they came out and they did what they were supposed to do. Going into the
Right.
half, it was 24-7. But what do? They run the football like madmen in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
We're up 24-7. I guess in the second half, we'll just stop running because that's what they did. They only
Yeah.
ran the ball 7 times in the second half,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, why'd you stop running the ball? You guys were shoving it down their throat, and it was like,
Right.
what do you? I mean, they had 192 yards on the ground. I mean, it wasn't like they were not, and they were stuffing it down. And 49ers couldn't keep the pace. They had got but because we know how well coached San Francisco is, they're going
Mm-hmm.
to make adjustments. They're going to make adjustments, and then you're going to have to beat them again.
Right.
And then Campbell comes out and says, "Well, we won't pass. We'll start passing now."
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were giving him a hard time on the fourth. So I get it. He's selling we're rough, we're tough. We go for it on fourth down. I like that. But what sucks about the fourth down, when you get it, you break them. But
Yeah.
when they stop you, you just shifted the momentum. So now
Mm-hmm.
you were on a roll, and now they just said
Enough of that.
they stopped you. Yeah. So now
Right.
offense comes out, and it's like I get it. He's a gambler.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely a slinger, man. He likes to, and you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and he
Absolutely.
owns it, I give him that. And I felt bad for. They were the underdog. I mean they were if they could have made it to the Super Bowl, it would have been like,
It would have been
holy
epic.
cow,
Yeah, it'd have been epic.
Cinderella team. Yeah, I mean,
Story of
just
the century.
yeah, I mean, holy cow. Um, so they say that San Francisco isn't designed to come back. I'm starting to wonder. Now I'm questioning that. I think they're designed to just win. I mean, what's your
Yeah,
thought?
they're designed to win.
How do you think Purdy played?
Uh, I think
Good
Purdy
work.
played pretty well. I mean,
I thought he did.
because I was on that game manager bandwagon, as his stars go, so does he. This was the game I wanted to see to convince me that, that he's a viable quarterback. The game where you have to use your skills and you have to adapt to what's going on to you to win the game. You know, you're going to have to think on the fly. It's not going to be scripted like the playbook that Kyle Shanahan sends to you. You're going to have to
Right.
improvise. You're going to have to find the open man. You're going to have to extend plays. And he did a little bit of all of that. So I will give him I will give him that he did, he did his due diligence. He played a good game, you know, a lot, the just like with the Kansas City games, there were some drops, there were some things going on. But for the most part, he did what he had to do, and he got those guys back into a position to where they could win the game. And that's what you need out of a quarterback. So I guess that he proved or he's graduated from game manager with his style, with his play last night or the night before last.
Well, I mean, he is. I was trying to repeat with. I was trying to remember. So Kyle Shanahan, the way he builds that team, is he wants processors, and he's a process quarterback. That's why so many processing quarterbacks do well. Using Jimmy G as an example, because they were saying today, would a Josh Allen do great in that system? They don't think so. You know what I mean? That's not the way he set it up. He has his,
Right.
He's got his way, and it's working. Now he hasn't won a Super Bowl with them yet, but it's working. So and Purdy is, I mean, he shows that he's got a good arm. He makes good decisions. Can he throw the ball 80 yards? Well, no, he can't. But I mean, not everybody can anyway. It doesn't even. I mean, but Jared Goff is really the same guy on the other side. Well, game manager. Not going to give you a lot of mistakes. Going to be pretty methodical. I mean, he had 273 yards. He didn't throw any picks. But again, they got away from the run. And it just, and I don't, I mean, I don't really know. I don't know what his philosophy on that. Like I said, the fourth down stuff, I get. That's how he got there. So he's like, we're gonna stick with it. So I'm not mad with him. I'm not mad. I mean, he put together a hell of a season. He's got a great group of young players. I mean, the city's got a lot to be. I mean, they've never been this far.
Right.
Hopefully they can keep building on it. And they come to play, man. That defense is coming after you.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that that one time I didn't have a problem with any of Dan Campbell's decision on fourth down, except for the one where he could have kicked the field goal and got the 3 points.
Yeah.
Now when you're in scoring range and you know how your opponent can just turn the switch on, you have to get as many points as you can to keep the pressure on them. And when the pressure is on them to score, you can blitz and get your 3 and outs and get them off the field.
Right.
That's the only really decision that bothered me, is that if you're in field goal range and your offense is not clicking, or it is clicking, but you can get points instead of gambling on a first down, get the points. Get the points.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think that was maybe one decision he might regret. You know what I mean? He may regret, but you look at, like I said, you look at the integrity of the 49ers, and I mean, man, they came out in the third quarter and scored 17 points, put them right in the lead. I mean, it was like, oh, okay. Or they tied the game up going in. And I think that may have rocked the Lions a little bit, because it seemed like they were starting to, I don't know, just unravel a little bit, because they gave up such a big lead in San Francisco. But you got to remember, when you're playing San Francisco, and I know they know, playing San Francisco, you're playing Kansas City. There's no dying that dog. That dog's coming to fight. You know what I mean? It's going to come. I mean, and that's how, they got an interception off Purdy. We've seen him get rocked. We saw Baltimore just rock his world. But one thing I will give him in that Baltimore game, he kept throwing it deep. He gave up 4 picks, man, and he was still throwing it deep. And I was like, kid's got some moxie, man. He's like, he's just looking at, and that's what it takes. And like I said, Jared Goff did his thing, and so there.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, "Whoa, Jared Goff! I mean, 273
No,
yards,
that's
one TD. Yeah, yeah, he
no,
did
that's not the
his.
problem.
Yeah, there were some decisions that didn't work out for them, and
Right.
that's what happened. And you may not, you know, you hate for that to happen,
Yeah.
but
You
it
hate for
happened.
the, gambling on your chance to go to the Super Bowl, but we get it. It's what he does and it works. But, you got to sometimes you got to take the points.
Yeah, you got to take the
Sometimes
points,
you got to take the points.
and it's this one went over 65 points total. Total. I mean, it was on fire. This game was popping. Um,
Hmm.
it really was. It was a heck of a game. It really was. And I felt bad for the Lions because they were right there. Man, they
Yeah.
were right there. But some decisions were made, like I said. Like he could have. So the field goal, if he could have, like you said, go for the field goal, not use your timeout, and then you
Hmm.
had a score. It was a two-score possession anyway. You know what I mean? So you had to
Right.
do. He wasted a lot of time going back to the Bills. Going
Hmm.
back to that, I mean, you waste 30 seconds or misuse a timeout in the playoffs, that can become very costly. Um, but yeah, San Fran, man, they're going to the Super Bowl. Uh, and they're going to try to win their fifth, I guess, right? That would be their fifth Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Joe Montana's got three,
Yep.
but Joe Montana's got four. Yeah, he's got four.
Yeah.
San
Yeah.
Fran's got four. Um, yes, going to be a heck of a game. Um,
Yeah.
it's going to be in
So yeah, gonna be in
Las
Vegas.
Vegas. So when we get back, we're going to talk about that game, talk about some other stuff. Just want to thank everybody. Like I said, I want to thank our guys over at SI Motorsports. Go see Wes, go see Riffle, Tint, Wheels, Lift the Vehicles, whatever you want to do. And our guys over at uh, Big Robbie's, the King of the Diamond Table, over on Barksdale, number one pool hall and all. Shreveport goes, sure. Just tell them that Tony G and Big Lou sent you. We'd love to hear. We'd like to hear. Like I said, hit us up on Facebook under at the KM Radio. Cam Radio page, Sportsbook page. Watch us on YouTube. All right. So when we get back, we're going to talk about the up and coming Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers. All right, guys, we'll be back right here on KM Radio. We go ham.
And
Cam Radio, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G, Big Lou, the Sportsbook, every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Hit us up. Hit us up on Facebook. All right, guys. If you're just tuning in, we're just covering the NFC AFC Championship. Lot to talk about. If you've been living underneath a rock and you're just finding out, um, Kansas City Kansas City and San Fran are in the Super Bowl. Um, should be. I mean, it has the makings of a great game. Um, but every time we say this in the Super Bowl, it comes back and it'll be a one-sided game.
yeah.
Um, but it has come back to where a lot of the Super Bowls I thought were going to be spectacular ended now. Now the spread is Kansas City's getting a point and a half.
Hmm.
So that puts San Francisco as a
It's an underdog
1.5.
for the yeah.
Now, before we get into breaking down the game, um, there's some props that I think are well, well to look at. It would be receiving yards,
Mhm.
and the one that so it looks like Debo Samuel is going to try to make that game, right?
Yes. Yeah,
So
he's going to
he's
try to make it. So
yes, Super Bowl, right? Why wouldn't you? Um,
right.
Rice or Kansas is receiving yards. Receiving yards. I want to go. If you can get Kelsey was five. How many receptions? See, San Fran total first high score. What does it say? All right, let me see. Total receiving.
Let's get got 93 receptions, 984 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah,
That's his
yeah. I was
receiving
saying,
yards for the season.
yeah. If you can get him plus 5.5 receptions in the game, I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
good bet. Um, total rushing yards. Pacheco, they've been keeping him at about 68. He broke. He had a good day. He's at 68 and a half. I like that bet. McCaffrey is at 90. That's what he ran for last week, 90 and a half. And the one Debo Samuels are given 14 and a half on the that may be one. But the one to stay away from is Patrick Mahomes and Purdy, because Patrick Mahomes don't run like he used to. He runs side to side. He don't really, and that's been getting people. And even though it's only 25 and a half yards, he may do one run like Purdy. Purdy don't run. He don't put a lot of. He's just not that guy. He may
Right.
run for five, but those are some prop bets. Um, those are some prop bets. Total passing touchdowns. Players to score two or more touchdowns. This is where it gets Travis Kelsey's plus 650.
Hmm.
That's a big pay. But anyway, there's some props to be done. It's like I said, Kansas City is plus 1.5. Should be a tight game. Break it down for me. What do you think San Francisco needs to do to win this game?
Uh, stay consistent with the run game. Uh, stick to the game plan. Brady has Purdy zero turnovers, zero turnover. If Brock Purdy turns the ball over, they're losing the game. He's got to have a clean game, and I'm not going to say that his game needs to be perfect, but it needs to be clean. Without the fumbles or without the interceptions. The interceptions is going to cost him the game. If he can keep the turnovers away and play to the system, they could come out victorious. It's just him sticking to what he knows, what he's been trained to do, and not play hero ball. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is work with what Mike Shea or what Kyle gives to you, and just execute play.
I and really, I mean, to me, you broke down. I mean, that you hit it right on the head. And for what I'm going to say about Kansas City, in order for Kansas City to win, they gotta rattle Purdy,
Mm-hmm.
get him to make a couple mistakes, like the Ravens did, and and the kid's going to keep coming. There's no doubt about it, and so
Mm-hmm.
is San Francisco. But you got to be able to keep your foot on him,
Right.
keep your
Manage,
foot on.
manage, manage the comeback because they're
Yes,
going to
that's
get some score. They're going to get a score too. You know, they're going
absolutely
to do
can. Yeah,
play. Plays are going to get executed. There's nothing you can do. You can try, but some plays are going to get executed or executed rather, and
I,
you just have to stay within what you know best and not get rattled if things are not going your way per se at the beginning.
I think what's crazy is these are two very evenly matched. San
Mm-hmm.
Francisco obviously has a better record,
Yeah.
um, but Kansas City has put it on in the last 5 games of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They've traveled to other people's houses and beat them. I mean, they went to Buffalo and beat us. And that to me that was like, oh, they went to the Ravens, and neither one of us really gave a lot. I was like, it would probably be a good game, but I think the Ravens are too much. And Kansas City, they just have this special bond.
Yeah.
Um, they have a special bond that they've done it before, so they know they can do it again.
Mhm.
Coaching, quarterbacking, and there's a lot of trust there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
not there's not going to be an argument on. It's all for one, one for all. Um,
Right.
Now San Francisco, I mean, which is pretty amazing. They had a chance last year to go to the Super Bowl, and then Purdy
Yeah.
got hurt, and they literally had no quarterback. I mean,
Right.
they just randomly had to find a guy. So I think that I mean I'm sure Purdy wants to prove his self. Um,
Right.
and right now because we got 2 weeks before the game, I guess I wouldn't. I'm not saying anything. I do like the over because I can see both of them putting some points
Right.
on,
Right.
and
Right.
I know San Francisco's defense is very very good in Kansas City, and not Kansas City, but the Ravens defense is very very good, and they kept them to 17 points.
Hmm.
But I'm thinking that Kansas City is going to. I think Kansas City is going to want to jump out. I mean, I think they're going to try to do some high flying in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm. Yeah, they're gonna come out with a trick play, and
yeah,
all
yeah,
his bags of tricks are coming out first half,
yeah.
and
I think so. I think they're gonna try to rock San Francisco's world. And
right.
again, pretty showed that they can come back. And they've done it
Hmm.
twice. Um, so they can come back from diversity, and I'm sure, I know that put that unit very close. Um,
Hmm.
the only thing that's different about how they came back and who they came back with is Andy Reid don't make those kind of mistakes. He'll change, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that Campbell made a mistake,
Right.
but and maybe I am. I don't know. But the thing is, I guess the other thing is like you said, when you have an opportunity to get points, you should take them in the playoffs. This is one and done. That's number
Right.
one. Number two is maybe sometimes you live or die by the sword, but
Hmm.
people are maybe sometimes when people are expecting the sword, you bring out the Nerf ball.
Hmm.
You give them something else, and they're like, huh? I mean, you don't have to be so
Right.
true to it that they know 99% of the time you're going to go for it on fourth. I mean, I mean, change it up
Right.
some. He could
Hmm.
have, so that's to me, that's where now Kyle is going to have a master plan. There's no doubt. He'll have a hell of a scheme. Andy Reid will too. Um, and Andy Reid's going to be on top of it. And
Hmm.
McCaffrey is going to run. I mean, he's gonna get 90 yards. Pacheco's gonna get his 68. I think they're both gonna have, and I think I think the difference is gonna be what what defense can get to who. What defense rattles who? I think that's the key here. Um, I think whatever defense can get to either quarterback and
Hmm.
be in his face all day. I think that's the one that's gonna um, because I think if they give Patrick Mahomes, and this is the scary thing about Kansas City is they can be down 2 touchdowns and they can score. They can score. They can score. They can score. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no. That's the. I mean, I mean, and this is early. You don't have to answer. Who do
Hmm.
you like?
Um.
I don't have an answer really right now. I don't really.
Yeah. I
I mean,
really
they want.
don't. Yeah. I really don't have a dog in the hunt, as they would say.
Yeah.
Like you said, if they come up, if they I just feel, man, like I said, I don't have a dog in the hunt, so it's hard for me to pick because it can go to any team. Any one play can break it out for that team. Now, I'm going to go veteran over, the quarterback is what leads things. So I'm going to go veteran versus Rook in this situation every time. But it took a team effort for the 49ers to get here. So it's really not on on Brock Purdy. You can call him game manager or whatever. Gets the ball out of his hands quick. He's pretty accurate. He's going to throw, he threw a couple of interceptions this year, but most likely, more accurate and works good in the system that they're running there.
Right.
So the 49ers have all the momentum to win this game, but it's Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chiefs. It's hard to bet against them now since I did last week, and now there's a hole in the bucket. But but you know, but seriously, I think I'm with you, Tony. I really don't have a dog in this hunt. Now it should be uh it I think the odds should go to the 49ers being in Vegas. They're a little bit, closer to home than to say the Kansas City fans. But fans travel to the Super Bowl. So
Oh yeah,
that'll be a sight to
absolutely.
see. That it's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be a sight to see. I don't really have a dog in the hunt, Tony, so I don't have a definite answer, but if you like a definite answer, then just hit me up on our social media platforms and I will come up with a definite answer for you.
Well, like I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'm going to gamble on. There's a lot of prop bets.
Mm-hmm.
Probably take the over. Probably take
Yeah.
McCaffrey to score a touchdown, anytime touchdown. Travis Kelce, how many? There's a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Debo Samuel, just put together. There's some parlay action in game parlay, um, and I do like the over. Um, but that being said, the rest is really. I mean, the actual game itself, I think at the 1.5, I just think it's a pick 'em. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's a pick 'em. Uh,
Okay.
and I think if you're gonna look at it like a game, if I'm gonna take all emotion out of it, um, if I take all emotion out of it,
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to go with Kansas City only because they won it last year. It's not
Yeah.
really a knock on. It's not really a knock on San Francisco at all. I know people take everything so personal. It's not really a knock at all. It's just
Right.
they've been there. They're not going to get excited. They're not going to. Um, and this is a big stage for Brock Purdy. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
is a Super Bowl. It doesn't get bigger. I mean, at the end
Nope.
of the day, he's only got what has he got? 14 games in him. I mean,
Right.
just say it. And we saw yesterday, like you had
Mm-hmm.
pointed out with Lamar and them, like maybe, and I wouldn't say Jared Goff because Jared Goff had been to the Super Bowl. Maybe
Yeah.
the
He's been
rest,
there and done that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I would say maybe the rest of the guys, um, and then, with the Ravens, there were some stupid penalties. You know what I
Right.
mean? And they always say penalties is a frustration, which shows not being very, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's a
Right.
frustration, and then you're supposed to not be getting frustrated. I mean, I know it's hard, but that's the difference between the winners and the losers a lot of times. How they handle
Yeah.
diversity. It's easy to handle winning all the time, but it's how do you handle when you just threw an interception? How do you handle that?
Right.
And they get frustrated. The guys you get. I mean, I'm not mad at them, but when you give the other team a free 30 yards or whatever, I mean, that's you can't be giving these guys short
Right.
field. I mean,
No.
and I
No.
don't see San Fran doing that because they're so well. Yeah, they're so well. ran that they're not heavy penalty guys. They're on top of they're on top of their deal. This is going to be a well coached. It has the makings for a great Super Bowl. I mean, it really does. It really has the makings of because if Purdy can win the Super Bowl, you're talking about Mr. Irrelevant winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Don't know if
And
that.
then
I don't think that. Yeah, it's never been done.
never been done. And then I
Um,
think that Mr. Relevant will be no more after that.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm telling you. And now, if Patrick Mahomes wins, you're talking about he's got 3 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even 30. That's pretty impressive. I mean, three Super Bowls. But yeah, I like all the props. Like I said, we got 2 weeks to cover this, so we'll be a lot
Yeah.
of talking, especially well next Tuesday. I want to cover a little. I want to cover a little. Let me see. Try to move over here. Let me do this here. I wanted to talk a little basketball with you. Because I know we don't get basketball. I mean, well, it's hard, with extra games and everything. Somebody was asking me, and I was like, "Dude, we only got an hour show. You know what I mean? We got 10 games. We're going to. I mean, it's like we would love to, but we got an hour show once a week.
Yeah,
It's
that was
not
your.
like it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it goes by really fast. People don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you're our Lakers guys. What's going on with the Lakers?
Well, with the Lakers, it's up and down. They had an epic game, second overtime win against Golden State the other night. Everybody executed, everybody played awesome. And then it's like they'll look like a team that has the potential to do some damage, and then they'll revert back to who they were. Like, so as they get a victory, they get to smell themselves, and then, everything shifts. But right now I like where they're going. I have to look up some trades. I had a chance to follow any hadn't followed the Lakers content. I got to look up and see, what are they looking for to trade and who is being traded.
Right. It's hard to believe they're already almost 50 games in.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, the
they
season. Yeah,
yeah, they
that's
All-Star break will be coming up pretty soon.
yeah. Um, and on the Western Conference side, on the Western
Jam packed,
Conference,
jam packed.
yeah,
Even a healthy Kawhi and the Clippers are looking good.
yeah, and Oklahoma Thunder, number one team
Yeah,
in
with
in Western Conference right now. I mean, I was
yeah,
like,
and
at
it's
Minnesota.
packed with youth.
Yeah, that's the key. Yeah, that's and the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're on the they didn't falter off. The Nuggets, of course, we already knew the Nuggets were going to be there. And like I said, the Clippers look good. Sacramento looks good. Um, even the Suns look good. I mean,
Yeah,
New Orleans is 7, Dallas is 8. Dallas, they're going to have to get him something. They got to get him
Luka.
more. Yeah, they got to
Yeah,
get him more.
yeah. And the only thing about that is Luka is ball dominant.
Yeah,
And right now they got a ball dominant guard in Kyrie with
right.
Luka. So, that dynamic sounds good, looks good on paper as far as the analytics goes, but you look at the analytics when they're on the court, it doesn't make any sense. Especially
Yeah, they're
when
barely.
both are lacking in defense. So what do you
Yes,
do? What
yes.
I'm saying? So now you got to get your defense from other players, which means that what if they're playing defense and they're always playing against the best player, that means that their shot percentage is going down, and shot percentage is what gets me incentives on my check. And
Right.
I
Yeah,
got to
because
make,
they're
I got to get it on my check.
2, 3. They're barely over 500. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Lakers are number 9. They're 1 game over 500. Utah Jazz 1 game over 500. But yeah, the West is definitely. Now in the East, man, the Celtics just keep, golly, they
grinding,
just keep, man.
keep grinding. They keep grinding, and they look good. You know, they look like the Celtics of last year. Uh, I don't exactly know what's going on with the Heat. I feel like they're waiting for the right trade. You know,
Right.
uh, Doc Rivers, Doc Rivers in
Yeah.
Milwaukee. He has Giannis. He has Dame. You know, and the rest of the squad. You know, for Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Uh, this may be Doc's last chance to get over that hump. I don't think if he doesn't do it with the Bucks, you know, and there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people asking why, how, why, and how. Why did he get it? How did he get it? You know, but you know, they feel like with two stars like that, you need someone that's experienced or someone that's done better or more than they have done. So they have a, you know, there's a respect. You know, there's respect put on Doc Rivers' name. So I think that's why they brought him in. They thought they needed someone that already had a tenure or a resume to back up what he's talking. So
Yeah.
I think that's how that happened over there.
And Philly looks good. Philly's on a tear. I mean, in the West, I mean, Boston is 761. The Bucks are 696. Philadelphia is 659. The New York Knicks are 638. Cleveland is staying there, and I like to see Cleveland there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then Indiana is 7 over. You know, someone was asking me, well, why do you like to see Cleveland there? And I told them this. I said, not that I'm a huge Cleveland fan, but I
Right.
like the fact that the owners making a commitment to try to
Mm-hmm.
keep the basketball program relevant and a winning thing. Because it was one
Right.
thing to have LeBron come. Well, LeBron's from that area. For him to play with Cleveland to win, he came back. They won it. They won it. They won it. Um, and then they fell, but they've managed to put it back together. And I like to see that because I like to see relevant teams. I don't like to see years and years of decade, and a lot of people they don't like Golden State. Oh man,
Right.
listen. I said, you realize Golden State sucked for 40 years. I mean, or 35. You know what I'm saying? They hadn't won a
Right.
championship since the 70s.
That's
So
long.
yeah, I mean, 30 years. They were irrelevant
Yeah.
until they got Steph and all. I mean, and that was pretty amazing. Um, because like I said, I mean, because you never can tell what the owners are doing. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
some of the problems with the major league sports is they all get a piece of the TV deal,
Mm-hmm.
and it's equally distributed.
Yeah.
Okay, so just like Milwaukee. When was the last time before Giannis? When was the last? When they did they have Bob Lanier there once? Was it
Yeah.
Bob Lanier? Yeah, yeah. That was a long time
Bob
ago.
Lanier.
Bob
A
Lanier,
long time
yeah.
ago.
Yeah, he played for Canisius College in Buffalo. Um, so, Milwaukee, and here's another thing Milwaukee has a baseball team. A lot of
Yeah.
people forget about that. They have the Milwaukee
Yeah.
Braves, I don't know,
Brewers.
and Brewers, yeah, Milwaukee said Braves, Brewers. And they put a pretty decent product out. But, it's one of those
Mm-hmm.
things is you never know how committed that they really are. It's kind of like the
Right.
joke. It's kind of like you realize that New York prior to the last couple of years ago, how long have they been bad? The
Wow.
Knicks. Wow.
It's been a long time.
And you're talking about the biggest city,
Yeah.
arguably the biggest city in the United States with the biggest TV market, with
Right.
all the
Supposed to
money.
be the basketball mecca or the basketball capital. You know, they're supposed to produce all of the superstars.
Yeah. And
Not so
they got
much.
no, yeah, it's I'm trying to see where is Yeah, I was trying to see. Did I miss Brooklyn? Yeah, they're there, Brooklyn. Yeah, they're number 11. I was missing them. No, but it's like I said, these owners sometimes they just don't. They're not committed to winning. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're just it's just a toy, and they're like. But yeah, there's gonna be some great basketball. We got the All Star break coming, then it'll get kind of hot and heavy when the playoffs come, and then
Yep.
we're basically about roughly 30 days away from March Madness. So we got March Madness coming up. We got hockey going on. Then in April we'll have baseball April 1st. We got a lot of things cooking for the year. And we got the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. We got a lot of gambling going on. Got college baseball, which has become pretty big in our area because of LSU. And so, but hey guys, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. KM Radio. Go to kmradio.com. Press play 24 hours a day on the great program. All right, it's your boy Tony G and Big Lou saying thank you for the Sportsbook. Right here on KM Radio where we go ham.
Damn.